And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. I am your host, Brian Barnaby, and Tony back in town.
Hell
What's
yeah,
going on,
baby.
man?
Not much, living life
to
the fullest.
Yeah, buzzing off that watch party last night, huh?
Yeah, I was definitely buzzing, dude.
We'll get to that in a little bit. And always, our super producer, Mike. What's going on, bro?
Hello, world.
Lot to cover this episode. We're obviously going to start with baseball, but we'll go to basketball as well as talk about tonight's NFL draft. So looking forward to all of it. But as always, in the world of Major League Baseball.
Giving chases Judge, and he dives into the stand.
DeGrom begins the season with an overpowering strikeout of Ronald Acuna.
The wall is gone! Three-run home run! What's going on here? I love it. He drives one to the moon. High, deep, and very gone.
So, last night, the Yankees shut out the Orioles 7-0. Get another good performance out of Domingo Germán. 7 strong, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Really set the tone early. Looked sharp really most of the game. And I think what really gave him the boost was, I believe it was the, I want to say third inning. Urshela hit that 3-run homer and really jump-started it. Ford had homered in the second to give him a 1-0 lead, so then they were up 4-0 after their Urshela home run. So I think that really, we talk about them starting fast, and that kind of just carried them the rest of the game. And Germán was really looked good, and he's impressed me after struggling his first 2 starts.
Yeah, man. I mean, he looked great out there. I mean, the Orioles definitely had trouble in terms of anticipating what pitches you were throwing at them, and obviously it showed. He pitched 7 innings. That's can't ask out of a better outing from that. And of course, like we said, the Yankees kind of coming out hitting first, like that's huge, especially for Germán. Like I'm sure he was way more relaxed in the mound. Like, let me just get through these innings. Like I got the bats behind me, so let's do it.
Yeah, and I thought he mixed, his breaking stuff with the fastball well. And it's just funny how quick things change. We talked about just last week about how they can't score early.
Right.
They can't get length in back-to-back nights. I mean, Kluber went 6 2/3, but Germán to go 7. They hadn't had that all season.
Yeah, I think they've been listening to us specifically.
Always.
And then, we talk about, tone, setting the tone. How about the top of the lineup? 1 through 4, 9 for 19, 4 RBIs. And for the second straight night as a team, 12 hits. So that usually, 12 hits, that's going to get you enough runs. Obviously I was disappointed to see Judge didn't play last night, still saying the lower body soreness. And of course, not in the lineup again today. The game actually starts in about 4 minutes. So I'll give you lineups in a sec.
Hey.
But, I'm very happy about how the game went. Frazier also homered, and, he's had a terrible start to the season. So you hope a homer, propels him. So all in all, I was happy with everything. DJ had a multi-hit game as well, second straight. So I think things are heading in the right direction. And I understand, people on the other side of this argument would say, it's the Orioles. Right. But the thing is, you got to start somewhere. Exactly. You got to beat the bad teams before you can beat the good teams.
I mean, it'd be way worse if they lost this game.
Right.
Like, what do you,
Right. And I think it's just so big for confidence. The guys were not confident. They were down. And this is a lot to be excited about.
And they played last night like a team. I mean, they all hit. You can even see their attitude in the dugout. They were all smiles. They were happy. Like, that's the dugout feel you want,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, so Stanton, I think, he had 2 hits last night. It was, I want to say maybe the 4th inning. I think they said the exit velo was 117 miles an hour. Double play. Maikel Franco somehow comes up with it. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I think they said expected batting average on a ball hit that hard was 670 or something. So I think he's been locked in, which is important. I mean, the average is still low, but, he just got off to a slower start. And he even said yesterday he's starting to feel good because the weather's getting warmer which we've seen with him over the course of his career.
I mean, it's only natural, I feel, with most ball players.
Yeah. So I think all of this is what we're talking about. It's just funny how we just can't overreact to short periods of time in a 162-game season.
Right.
It's never going to be as good or bad as it seems.
Exactly.
I think that's the general thing here.
Well, I'm glad you're coming around here, Bob.
So, happy to see that. It's now 5 of 7 overall. And as I mentioned, now we're 2 minutes away from first pitch. And it's going to be Jordan Montgomery versus Jorge Lopez. So this is another matchup, just like I said the other night with Zimmerman and the Orioles, kind of doing an opener yesterday. You look at it, the run should be there. They should be able to hit them. And we historically as a team, take advantage of mediocre pitching. So feel good about this. So I'm not concerned about the offense in this one. I just want to see Jordan Montgomery have a strong performance. Great first start. Last 3 starts have been mediocre.
Yeah, man. I think this season he has
like a 4.70,
4.5 ERA right now.
Okay.
And the 4 games he started, which I mean, it's not exactly what you want, but it's not terrible, right? So
it could be worse.
Exactly, it could be way worse. But I mean, again, like as long as the Yankees have some bats here and they get like some runs on the board, like I feel like Montgomery will be a little bit, at ease on the mound, hopefully pitch a better game. I can't see why he can't have a good outing right now.
Yeah, and I think he should do better than this, but I think I guess I would be somewhat satisfied with 6 innings, 3 earned. I think you win that game if he gives you that.
Yeah, definitely.
So interesting to see, because you've seen Kluber turn it around, you've seen Herman turn it around, so he's kind of the next one, and then obviously Tyone would be, another guy you want to see go. So you string together quality starts, obviously, good things happen, and this is a stretch, like we talked about, that we want to see them take advantage of, because you've played, the Orioles here. You had your series against the Indians last week, and then the Tigers actually come to Yankee Stadium starting tomorrow.
Right.
So those are all games, you feel you should win the series, win the majority of them.
Exactly.
So I think they're in a good spot right now. And then after, last night after Herman went 7, King comes in for 2 scoreless. They option him back down again. I don't like that move.
No, neither do I. I mean, what like why?
The only thing I'm thinking is to get Wandy Peralta a roster spot, but I don't know.
I mean, if King's doing well, like why not just keep it?
Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
I like him as kind of a long reliever too when you need him.
Right.
Just keep him on the roster. I don't know. They just those are the type of things that we get
really
a little annoyed with.
Barnes,
And we are actually just about to get started here, and I'll just read off the Yankee lineup quick. We got LeMahieu, Stanton, Torres, Urshela, Odor, Hicks, Sanchez back in the lineup after being benched for 2, Frazier and Gardner. So I think that's a pretty solid lineup. I like Urshela batting cleanup because runners on, he's a good contact guy, and we've seen he has power. I mean, he has 4 home runs this season.
Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting to see what Sanchez does.
Right.
Given that he just sat out 2 games for Higgy.
And you want to talk accountability? I'll be the first one to say I said I thought he was going to start, for the All-Star game this year. I have lost all my confidence in him already.
Wow.
I know it's early, so hopefully he proves me wrong. But I'm just not. I think it's just enough time has elapsed where it's like, how many times are we see him do this? And they had the splits between him and Higashioka since like the start of last season. The difference, I mean, it's not even close. As far as hitting is concerned, and the pitchers have a better ERA with him. So it's just like he's really got his back against the wall, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. But on the other end of it, like good for Higgy, man. I mean, he's put in the work, starting to see some results, get more playing time. Like it's what you love to see, man. Kind of
and especially because he was in the minors for so long. Really, some guys would have quit already. So that's why you never give up, of course. Yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow we'll start a 9-game homestand for them. So they'll look to improve on that home record as they've struggled, with some tough games to start the season. But all in all, I think I'm happy with the way things are, and I would like to see them just finish the deal, today, and then go back home. And I did see an article. He always lies, of course, but supposedly Judge should be back in the lineup tomorrow. So if that's the case, that's fine. I think it's
Fingers crossed.
I think their thought, maybe he really did. He wasn't lying, and maybe he intended to only sit him for one game, but it probably just thought we won 7-0 last night. We got 9 home games coming up.
Right.
Why even play him today? Which I kind of get, even though I think, listen, players are way too coddled these days, way too soft. But you got to work with what you have.
Exactly.
And we know how Judge needs time off. I mean, it is what it is.
Right. And I mean, the lineup is doing well enough without him. So it's like, why risk it at that point? Like, I guess it's a kind of a good decision.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how things play out. DJ just let off the game with the ground out to short. And then we will have Giancarlo Stanton coming to the plate. So it'd be nice to start with a bang here. So we'll let you know if anything if anything happens there. And to Tony's dismay, we will get into last night. And you know what? I'm going to just say 2 words and then let you finish this. Okay. So Nick Pivetta, and you can give me your synopsis from there.
All right, dude. I mean, you know what? I want to start out with the good things that came from this game, okay? Which, I mean, it's pretty obvious the one good thing that came out of this game, which was our pitching, specifically DeGrom, and I was a little worried. Coming out of the gate, he looked a little sluggish, especially coming off that full game he just pitched. I think he had like 112 pitches or something that game. He definitely struggled with some location. He gave up 3 hits, I think, in the second. He brought 1 run in. But, I mean, the veteran that he is, dude, he pulls it together, comes out, 6 innings pitched, pitches – doesn't give up any more hits the rest of the game, picks up 9 Ks along the way. He, for some reason, it seemed like his velocity increased during the game, and he did a good job mixing up with his breaking balls as well. He kept the batters guessing. He absolutely killed it the rest of the game. And even our bullpen, too. Aaron Luke came in. He retired 3 batters, and Trevor May had 3 strikeouts. Diaz in the 9th, 2 strikeouts, retired those batters. But it didn't mean shit because we couldn't hit the ball. We had 2 hits on the game, dude. I mean, I don't know what our batters were doing. I mean, Lindor was 0 for 3, Alonso 1 for 4, Conforto was 0 for 4, Smith 0 for 4, Stanton flies out to
that one.
left center, right center rather. You hate to see that. Well, anyway, dude, we had no bats. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I will obviously you got to give credit to Pivetta a little bit. I mean, 7 Ks, like only gave up 1 hit, 3 batters walked. Pitched 5 innings. He pitched really well, to be honest. The Mets had no idea. Like, they couldn't guess anything. Even the bullpen as well. They had no idea what was getting thrown at them. They were late in the fastball. They were reaching for breaking balls out of the zone. They were taking strikes in the zone. Like, they had almost no game plan at all. And it's like, I mean, I understand, like, you want to be aggressive, but it just seemed like they were just being too aggressive on everything.
Yankees go
1, 2, 3 inning.
Gleyber grounds out. Tough, nice play by I think it was the shortstop there. That was Franco, I think.
Yeah, that was Franco. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, it's good to be aggressive but you got to be aggressive towards one thing. If you're looking for a fastball, sit in the fastball. Like, take whatever breaking pitches. They're just swinging at everything.
And I said this yesterday. I said we're going to see how this game's going to go if they take their time early and wait for them to make mistakes. And
exactly.
They didn't do it.
They did not at all. I mean, like, 5 innings, like they were swinging at everything. They literally gave him no time to make a mistake. He threw good pitches. Like it was terrible.
Now, do you think it was evenly split in terms of them and him as to why he did well, or would you almost lean more towards their approach in being impatient?
Yeah, I would say maybe it's like 60-40 our approach, being impatient for sure, dude.
Because, I mean, he's had a good start to the season now. He's 3-0, 281. But coming into this season, the 3 full seasons that he's pitched before, I mean, his lowest ERA was 4.77. So we're talking about a guy who hasn't had success up until this point in the majors.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. It was definitely a tough couple losses against the Red Sox. Close games. Literally, like, we had 2 hits, man. Like 2 hits all game.
2 for 28, 15 strikeouts, and 13 left on base.
Horrific,
you're never winning any game.
No, never. I think we're batting 187 with runners in scoring position, the lowest in the MLB right now.
Wow.
Brutal, dude. Then
it's
tough, dude.
One other thing here too. I mean, I saw DeGrom 93 pitches. Would you have wanted to see him go pitch another inning? I mean, I know it didn't matter because he couldn't score, or do you think it was the right time?
No, I think it was the right time. I mean, like I said, he did look a little sluggish coming off the 9-inning game.
Okay.
So save him a little more. And our bullpen, honestly, I'm every every game, I'm getting more and more confidence in our bullpen, honestly. So
Right.
I didn't really see an issue with taking him out, putting in Aaron Loop. Like,
Yeah.
that was
No,
good.
the bullpen has definitely been solid.
Yeah.
The Mets, another off day tonight, so they can't right the ship till tomorrow in Philly, though. Big weekend series, and Stroman returns to the Hill tomorrow. What do you want to see, this weekend in Philadelphia?
I want to see bats. I think that's the most important thing we're missing right now. I don't know if it's maybe a little bit more of the nerves going around the lineup, given the fact that we kind of started out pretty hot and then maybe we're fizzing out. I mean, you see Lindor now getting booed at home. So, I
thought it was kind of funny what he said, those comments.
On the radio. I mean, he said that, he understands why. He says it's kind of funny, but also kind of sucks because obviously he doesn't want to be playing well. So, I don't know. Maybe if they just, need to kind of regroup, take a deep breath. And make a game plan at the plate. Like I said, it looked like last night they had absolutely no game plan as to what they were looking for coming from Pivetta. So hopefully they kind of, like I said, make a game plan at the plate and Stroman pitches a good game.
And it's funny with Stroman, such a good start to the season, bombed last start.
Right.
And this is kind of what I talked about yesterday with, like, when you have a big winning streak, like in the NBA, you lose one game, what happens next?
Right.
Same thing with Stroman. That fast start can be easily forgotten if he doesn't show up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it's a little tough, too, when you're, he's a contact pitcher. So, sometimes if you're pitching for the ground balls, if you're against good batters, they're going to kind of reach and get some height underneath that and end up getting base hits out of it. So it should be interesting to see how he kind of reacts, like we said, given that he had a kind of rough outing the last time.
And then I was watching the Yankee pregame earlier, and they were saying Harper and Gregorius not in the lineup today after getting hit yesterday.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow if they're actually going to be in the lineup.
I know. I mean, those are two big bats. Harper took a nasty hit, actually. Like, he took it off the chin, I think.
Yes.
And I think, that was last night. Girardi actually ended up getting thrown out after that.
It's always fun seeing Joe get fired.
Oh, he was livid, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hate to see someone get hit in the face. However, not having Harper in the lineup, good for the Mets.
Yeah, so they'll look to capitalize on that. And I just
saw
real quick, Cedric Mullins led off for the Orioles with a single. He hit 2 home runs in the first game of the series, and I think this season he's batting over 300. I'm actually impressed. I didn't think he was really anything special, but he's had a good start to this season.
No, yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, the Orioles, they came out off the gate pretty hot, and
Got him?
Yeah, wow.
Big play by Montgomery, just beating to the bag. It looks like Austin Hayes.
Hayes,
yeah. I think it's Hayes, was running the first there. So nice to get that play. Looks like they're going to review it. So be a tough one if it's first and second, no out. But let's see what we got here. So he gets the ball. Safe. I think it was simultaneous.
Yeah, dude. That's tough, man.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Very.
Oh, no.
He's out.
He's
just out.
The athleticism from Montgomery, dude.
His chin.
Yeah. His chinny chin.
So nice to get that one there. So now runner on second, 1 out. And who do we got at the plate? Oh, Trey Mancini. The big comeback story, obviously coming back from colon cancer, and he's picked it up recently, which is good to see. One other baseball note here. How about the Red Sox now tied with the Dodgers and the Giants, most wins in baseball at 16. And I mean, Giants are probably actually just as surprising to me to be up there, but a little fishy with Cora, and the bats have been so hot. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't think that should be completely ruled out.
I mean, dude, I hate to be, speculating and tossing accusations, but I guess, I'm sure it's in maybe the back of some people's heads. I'm just saying,
it's basically the same team except worse because they got rid of guys this offseason, and they're all of a sudden they can't hit to the best hitting team in the majors.
I know, and Red Sox were written off a little bit before the season, all of a sudden now they're hitting pretty well.
So I'm just saying, wouldn't be surprised if, I'll just leave it at that.
A couple investigations.
Investigations. You never know what happens. So, So, I mean, obviously we'll track that, of course, if anything, comes out, we'll be all over it for sure.
Ooh,
Let's
man,
see. It looks like it's going to be
1-0
Orioles. Mullins is going to score from second. Not the way you wanted to start, but I always say, if you can't score, like from yesterday, you can't score 1 run, you can't win anyway.
Exactly.
So giving up 1 run is irrelevant,
Nothing,
pretty much.
Dude, nothing.
So, and then, just around the majors yesterday, how about the Twins finally picking it up? They've had a tough start, even with a win yesterday, 8-15, but they went home run derby on the Indians on the road. Garver homered twice, and you also had
Byron Buxton.
And Buxton went 5 for 5.
Yeah,
Buxton's hitting .438 this season.
good for him.
And he has, what is it now? Do they? I don't know. Oh, okay. He's eight homers. So he's a guy, top prospect, really never saw strong results. And all of a sudden, I mean, he's looking like the guy they expected him to be.
Yeah, he's looking real nice, actually, dude. I remember, I think it was last season, he had that crazy inside the park home run.
Yes.
He was flying over the bags, bro. The guy is so speedy. It's I mean, there's a reason why he's such a top prospect for sure.
And it's funny, I'm not happy about the Yankees start 11-13, but the Twins 8-15, and I still think they're going to end up being a good team. That offense is loaded. With Donaldson also homered yesterday. And Mitch Garver, a guy who has been really good in the past, really struggling. I mean, he hit 2 out yesterday, but he's still only batting 172. Kind of surprised to see him struggle so much.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. I mean, I feel that's a big name that I hear around the league a lot.
Yeah, especially because catchers, there's not a lot of good hitting catchers.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, I definitely felt bad for Logan Allen yesterday, who started for the Indians, dude. First inning just gets smashed, bro.
Yeah.
June and I were sitting here laughing at him because it was like, dude, literally home run after home run. Like, the guy didn't last 2 innings.
Yeah. So, brutal. I mean, that's a tough one to take. And, before we wrap up, the baseball segment here, I mentioned the Giants quickly. How about Mike Tauchman, first game with the Giants coming over from the Yankees, 3 hits yesterday?
No shit, dude.
Yep.
Wow, bro.
So I think that was a great move for them. Tauchman, I get it. He hasn't really hit yet last year, didn't really hit much this year, but I think he's a guy, if he's in the lineup getting consistent playing time, knowing what his role is, he's going to perform well. Yeah, dude. And, you like to see that the trade worked out. He's a better fit for him, and hopefully it works out more for the Yankees as well. But I just, and we did our season previous year, I just didn't think the Giants could hit enough to be 16-9 and have a 10-3 home record. As much as I hate to say it, I guess we were wrong. Yeah. Well, I think part of that, the pitching has been great. And, before he went down, Johnny Cueto, had 3 strong starts. Right. And then yesterday, Alex Wood gets his 3rd win of the season, 6 innings, 9 Ks, only 2 earned. He's got a 150 ERA this year. Wow, dude. So he's a guy,
what
from
do you
the
think
Dodgers.
about McDonald?
McDonald's?
I don't know.
Who's
MC1?
McDonald? What about McDonald?
And they also said, them balls in MLB is amazing, so huge.
Okay, well, if you could clarify what you mean about McDonald, and we also had Matt commenting on the LA Barnaby pullover. Yep. So we know these are great, kind of this time of year, in between weather, something light. Hey, what does the LA stand for, by the way? Leon Antoine. So that is my dad, but he's junior. My grandpa it was senior, actually. Right. So he was the one who founded. You didn't want to be the third? No. Well, my mom didn't want me to be the third. Okay. No. But I think that they had the senior junior thing. I think Brian's worked out. Good, hey. You got to go with what you have, right? We'll see what happens here with the Yankees.
Joseph McDonald.
Any updates we have? I don't know what you mean.
Joseph and then he's McDonald. Asking, isn't there a
he's asking what MLB? Dude, do you watch baseball? Like, I don't even think I'm going to comment on that, honestly. Just because it's like, come on, dude. Like, are you serious? We're getting trolled right now. It's got like some 6-year-old. So let's let that go for now. And like I said, we'll give you any updates we have from the Yankee game. And we're gonna go on here to the NBA. And last night, we had two. Of the night, Suns 109, Clippers 101. And how about those Suns? It's their first playoff berth. 11 years. What a story. Chris Paul, center of it all again, 28 points, 10 assists. I mean, I was expecting this, and I think you were too, Mike, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love him. I'm just reading this comment. This
Sorry,
dude,
dude.
bro, did you see it?
Me too, yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yo,
What, dude?
You got it, dude. Enough, honestly.
Dude, shouldn't you be in class or something?
Anyway, so Chris Paul is I mean, if he wins a championship, he could be considered the best point guard ever.
I mean, I think it's
he
he's
played
in the
in such
conversation.
He played in such a tough.
Oh,
era.
Montgomery, what do you got, dude?
And you know what I thought the coolest thing was? They were talking about the last time the Suns made the playoffs, like Booker and Ayton were 10 or 11, and they're like, Chris Paul was a star guard in the league, and he still is now.
Yeah, I know. It's dope, dude. I mean, I love it. It's kind of almost like him in New Orleans,
Yeah.
but with a better team.
Yeah.
He looks amazing, dude. He's in such great shape.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it was just funny. He was like, really, if you think about it, it was a little better, but it was almost similar to what Melo went through a couple years ago when he was getting, traded, bought out. No one really wanted him. He had a low shooting percentage with the Rockets, before he ended up on Oklahoma City. And that was just so they could get, Russell Westbrook off. So, I mean, I think, what a turnaround, honestly.
No, it's
in
amazing.
2 years.
Right. Like people definitely were writing him off.
Right. And then you'd think too, he's made all this money. Why would he be motivated to get in shape? But, these players, you don't know what goes inside their head. And he doesn't want to just end his career without a championship, without trying. Why would he want to do that?
Right. No. And I think this is his best opportunity he's had in his career.
Yeah. I mean, not even close. This team is so talented. And I have to say, I think if the Lakers aren't representing the Western Conference in the finals, it's going to be the Suns, because this team, I just don't see really any weaknesses. I really don't. And to beat a Clippers team, and I get it, Kawhi, a DMP diva once again last night, but Paul George did have a strong game, and the Clippers have played well of recent, but they took care of business here. So that's, all you could ask for. And before we move on from this game, I mean, I kind of know what you're going to say to this, but I'll just ask the question anyway. Do you think it's at all important for Kawhi to get in a couple games before the playoffs?
No, Barnes. You know me. That's why
I said that.
He's resting. He's chilling. I mean, if there's anyone that performs in the playoff, Barnes, do not at me. It's Kawhi Leonard.
And he has, but I'm just it doesn't annoy you at all that he wants to chill.
No, I mean it does annoy me.
Okay, all right. No,
I would never, if I was in the NBA and I was a star, I would play every game.
Yeah, no, it's like he literally just wants to have a guy's weekend in Vegas with Uncle Dennis. That's what this is literally about.
Yeah, literally.
So hey, kind of agitates me a little bit, but I'll digress from there. And the other game, we looked at.
Let's go.
The Knicks
Let's
again,
go, baby.
113-94. The return of Julius Randle, 34 points, 7 boards. Barrett, another big game, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. And before we get to Mike's take here, how about Nervous Nerlens stuffing the stat sheet? 8 points, 8 rebounds.
I told you, bounce back.
4 steals, 5 blocks for a plus 24. I was even impressed, and I'll leave it to you, Mike. What were your thoughts here?
I mean, does Tom Thibodeau basically listen to our podcast?
I hope he didn't hear what Grasso said.
And then put in the game plan, because I literally said I need a bounce back game from RJ. I need a bounce back game from Randall, which they were going to. And I need Nerlens to have a bounce back game as well to shut you up.
Yeah, and all that happened.
Yeah.
And it was funny, like Grasso had said yesterday, Vucevic is going to have his big game, which he did. 26 points, 18 rebounds, 2 blocks, but they don't get much other than that. Marketing 14-6, and they did cut that lead to 1 point before the start of the fourth quarter, but the fourth quarter was dominated by the Knicks.
Yeah, no, I mean the Knicks are here. This is their game plan. It's like, we're going to play defense and we're going to run a good offense. If we hit, we hit. If we don't, we don't. And Julius Randle is the engine that drives this team.
And the Knicks are going to get some well-deserved rest here. I don't remember a break this long. They're off till Sunday.
I mean, good. I think they need the rest.
But is that normal to have 3 in a row off?
I don't know. They did have a stretch where they played 8 games in 5 days, so maybe this is just to counter it.
You mean 5 games in 8 days? Because 8 games, they would
5
be
games,
double headers.
Yeah, you're right. 5 games in 8 days.
You think we'll ever see an NBA doubleheader?
I think the closest thing we had was the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't think they can handle it, dude, athletically, bro. Those guys are not in shape enough to play 2 games back to back.
Anyway,
But Tony,
terrible
honestly,
athletes,
at this point, are you even impressed with the Knicks?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, what a
How
story,
could I not?
right?
Yeah, literally, dude. I mean, Mike makes me watch him all the time, even though he's in my house, takes over my TV and everything.
Right. And
honestly,
you're trying to watch the Mets.
We're trying to watch the Mets, you know, but you gotta watch the Knicks are on, dude. But honestly, no, they're very entertaining. It's definitely a lot of fun to watch them as someone who's not really a fan.
So, the stuff's getting interesting down the stretch, as we get into May and for these final 9 or 10 games for all the teams. And can't wait to see, what the play-in's going to look like, what the first-round matchups are going to look like. Of course, we'll cover it all. And usually, we would preview the upcoming games today. But the NBA, I have to say, this is probably the weakest schedule on a per-night basis that I've seen all season. We don't even have 2 teams with winning records matching up tonight. So we're going to take a breather from that. And in honor of today being the first night of the NFL draft, we are going to go over a mock draft done by the legend, the living legend himself, Mel Kiper Jr., and kind of go through it with you guys and give you our insights on it. So really looking forward to tonight. Before we get started here, fellas, what are you most excited to see tonight?
I'll start since Tony doesn't want to talk.
I was actually just about to say something, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Anyway, so I'm excited, bro. This is the beginning of the end of the Jets being trash. We have a new head coach. We have a new quarterback coming in. We have a whole new energy, and I can't wait. It starts tonight. We've been saying it for the past 2 months now, Barnes? What have we been waiting for? The draft. And not only that, I'm excited for the drama that comes with the draft. Everything that gets it going and bubbling from down within. You know what I'm talking about, Tony?
No, not really.
Before I get to
honestly,
what were you going to say?
Literally the same thing. My housemate's a diehard Jets fan.
Okay.
Dude. He talks about the Jets constantly. Jay is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. Every year he's like, "This is the Jets' year, dude."
Well, no, I never seen
And then
that.
like 4 games into the season, he's like, "This is terrible. It's disgusting."
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm looking forward to see how the Jets do and kind of who they draft and how to kind of work around who they draft and
We
everything.
should do a
like
live
that.
watch
So,
party.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Is Barnes going to actually call in? He said he was going to call in
Yeah, he
last
didn't
time, but
call
he
in
didn't
last
call. He
time.
wasn't
I
even
was commenting.
He
but
didn't even comment.
All my comments
It was
weren't read.
ooh, look at the Yankees. That was my comment. That was his comment.
But I will be available tonight. So if we're gonna go draft party, I am in.
Are you in live or like calling?
Probably a call in, but I'm there though. How about that?
All right,
You're
fine.
there where? You're gonna call in from here, even though you're here. You're gonna still call in.
We'll get into details in a little bit. So we'll start with, like I said, Mel Kiper Jr.'s final mock draft, and we're gonna go the top 10 and the local teams. So obviously we know Trevor Lawrence is going 1 to Jacksonville, and I can't wait to see Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, what they're going to come up with. Can he rebuild this fledgling Jacksonville Jaguar franchise? So it's all coming on the shoulders of Trevor Lawrence, and it'll just be interesting to see, does he have success early? Do they have a winning record? Or is it the Joe Burrow route? He looks great and then gets a torn ACL because he doesn't have any protection around
Jesus, God forbid.
And then retires because he doesn't care about the NFL and championships, apparently.
I think he's talented. And listen, Trevor Lawrence is a guy, through most of last season, the Jets losing their first, I think it was 11 games last year. I expected him to be a Jet, but he's not going to be a Jet. And hey, that's okay, because at number 2, of course, he's got Zach Wilson going to the Jets. This has been talked about for a long time, and I get it. This is a wild card. This is a guy last year that we didn't see him play any top competition, any Power 5 schools, but we've seen flashes of potential. And as dull as the Jets have been the last 10, 15, 20 years, not having a franchise quarterback, this is the risk I'm excited to see them take.
Yeah, man. And actually, I like what Mike was saying before the show, that Zach Wilson kind of reminds him of a Aaron Rodgers. I could definitely see that. And if you build around him, give him some weapons to throw to, I feel it would be a a great addition. To the team.
And we'll get to his weapons in a little bit. As we move down this mock draft. Number 3, he's got Mac Jones, the Alabama quarterback, going to the Niners. They've traded up with the Dolphins to get that 3rd overall pick. And I think this is a mistake here, honestly. I think Mac Jones, and we see this every year. We've seen it, with guys like E.J. Manuel getting into the 1st round, Blake Bortles, where before the draft, these guys that were supposed to be 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks, because teams are so quarterback desperate, these guys get moved up the charts. This is a solid quarterback, but he doesn't have that it factor, I don't think. I think he's solid, not spectacular, and I think you're signing up for Andy Dalton here at 3. So I don't like that pick.
Wow, dude, that's an interesting take.
You traded up two 1st round picks for this.
Yeah, true. And then you're drafting Mac Jones. It'd be interesting to see what the 49ers do with Garoppolo as well.
Right, right.
So if you're drafting Mac Jones, I would assume he's going to be starting over Garoppolo for like the bulk of the season, right?
And it's just like we've seen this book too many times. Even if they want to say we're benching Jones all season, Garoppolo's going to start. It's going to be 4 games. Yeah. It's going to be Eli Manning. It's going to be Daniel Jones. It's going to be the same thing that we see all the time. Right. So I have a theory here, and we'll get to when we talk to the Patriots pick what's going to happen with that. So we'll see if they go with Jones. My pick would be Justin Fields. That's a guy we saw dominate the semifinal game in the college football playoff, and then struggle against a tough Alabama team. But he can run. He has a strong arm, and I just think he's so much more dynamic than Mac Jones. So I think that would be the right pick, but supposedly it's between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. And I mean, Trey Lance is another wild card. He's supposed to be selected a couple picks later. So we'll see, if they make a move here. But this is go time for Kyle Shanahan, GM John Lynch. They've been together 4 years. The one winning season, they go to the Super Bowl, lose. Other than that, I mean, of course, Garoppolo has been hurt, but they haven't produced results. They signed 6-year contracts. So you get to year 5, you want to see results. A lot of expectations are going to be on them this year.
Yeah, dude, a lot of eyes.
So we will see what happens. So at number 4, the Falcons are slotted to pick, but Mel Kiper Jr. has projected a trade here for the Dolphins to move up from 6 to 4. So they've moved around 5 times already. They're going to go back up to 4, take Kyle Pitts. I mean, I like the pick. Kyle Pitts is supposed to be a game changer, one of those tight ends that's in a wide receiver body, stretches the field. And Tua is a guy that I don't think he has great arm strength. So I think, you want to have a safety blanket. So I get the pick. My only thing is at 6, I think you could have one of these star receivers. So I don't know if it makes sense to give up draft picks to move up 2 spots, even though Kyle Pitts, I think, will be great. I think what really would make sense here is for the Falcons to either draft Matt Ryan's successor or take Kyle Pitts, because there's rumors that they want to move Julio Jones.
Jesus, dude.
A lot to take in.
Yeah, dude. I'm like trying to soak all this in. There's a lot of scenarios here, Barnes, huh?
There is a lot of scenarios, and since I mentioned it, so I guess they are pretty, they want to move Julio Jones. He's, I think, 32 at this point, has the big contract. And I think, when you have a salary over $20 million for a guy in his early 30s, you don't require much back in a trade. So this is the opportunity. And I was talking about this before the show. The Jets should make a move, trade for Julio Jones. You need to stack weapons for your franchise quarterback, and don't put him in a position like you did with Sam Darnold. I mean, couldn't you not agree more, Mike?
Or Sanchez.
Yeah, or Sanchez, exactly. Just have a plethora of weapons. I mean, I like Mims.
Plethora.
I like, Mims, the second-year player that they drafted in the second round last year. They did sign Corey Davis. They do have Jamison Crowder, but just go overboard. You know what I mean? You give yourself the best shot to win. We've seen them take these vanilla defensive players early in drafts that don't pan out. So I'm sick of it. I want offense. So I think that's the way to go. We'll see what happens. Just had to get that in there. So as they always do at 5, he has the Bengals with a boring but maybe smart pick, since we saw Burrow go out with the ACL. Penei Sewell from Oregon, the top offensive lineman in the draft. We know if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have anything in the NFL.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Burrow's got hammered like all season. Yeah. It was really only a matter of time before he did get hurt. Unfortunately, it did happen. But regardless, even if he didn't get hurt, he was still going to be getting hammered all season. Like how much longer was he going to be lasting in that? Hammered, dude. He's getting hammered.
Sounds like Tony on a Friday night.
on, guys.
But I think honestly, probably a smart pick for the Bengals.
Hammered.
You want to protect, your franchise quarterback for sure. Yankees double play. Guy falls down out at first. And
Got him.
End of the inning too, or is that only 2 outs?
That is 2 outs,
but
right
we'll
there.
take it. Still 1-0. So at number 6, the
Slide that in
Falcons,
there.
who are in 4, moving back to 6 with the trade with the Dolphins, have them taking Trey Lance. So
Hammer.
that would be, Matt Ryan's successor. But I think Matt Ryan has 2 more years left on his contract. I think he is 35, 36, but seems like he has a lot left. So Trey Lance is a guy. He's from North Dakota State, so that's not even high Division I. It's a wild card. I mean, he's mobile, but he only played 1 game last year. I don't see the reason. You bring in Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator from the Titans. You brought him in to get the most out of this Falcons team, which has been disappointing in recent years other than the Super Bowl run. I don't like that pick at all.
Wow, dude. Tell me how you really feel about it.
I mean, don't you agree, though? It's like, why wouldn't you get Matt Ryan help and have a chance to compete this year?
No, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, dude.
Because you're not trading Matt Ryan. So what are you going to pay Matt Ryan $35 million to start 4 games? Just like the
Right.
situation.
It makes no sense at all, actually.
So we'll see what they do there. But I think Lance.
You might want to talk to me about football.
I don't like you, Mike,
Lance is a wild card.
Yeah, go
I mean,
ahead, bro.
do you agree with what
I
I
didn't sign
just
up
said
for
there?
this.
Honestly, with the Falcons.
Well,
and
what
Lance?
if they're doing like they're going to get him 4 games in, put him in, and then trade Ryan?
But who's going to trade for Ryan at that salary?
The Jets.
Why would they?
Wow, dude, you sound really stupid
Nah,
over there, bro.
No, I'm joking.
But especially,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
but dude,
At least I'm more entertaining.
If
not.
they're
Yes, I
gonna
am.
if
You're
they're
not.
gonna
You're
trade Julio Jones, how do you not take a receiver at that pick?
Actually, you make a good point there, but the thing is, clearly they don't believe in Matt Ryan, and they're just like, you know what, maybe a buyout situation.
I mean, I don't see that happening, but
Yeah, well-
I mean, hey, but the one thing I'll say,
You
Mel
don't see
Kiper
the Knicks
Jr.
going 10 out of the last 11, but
I
hey.
didn't. Mel Kiper Jr., he's better at his job than I am at this, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, and we'll move on. Number 7, we have the Lions. It's funny. Adam Shine always calls them the rebuilding since 1976 Detroit Lions. At number 7, going with Jamar Chase, the wide receiver out of LSU. And LSU has turned into wide receiver U. We see it every year. Justin Jefferson, the star rookie last year for the Vikings. So I think that's a solid pick. I mean, you want to give Goff weapons. He comes over in the Matthew Stafford trade. So I think that guy's going to be a star. He didn't play last year because of COVID. But, I mean, if you can get a stud receiver, I always think you can never have too many weapons.
Yeah, especially when you're the Lions and you're Dookie.
And I think Goff is trash, by the way. I don't know what you guys think.
He reminds me
I
of
don't think
like
he's that bad.
Tony.
I kind of liked him.
Do you think he's getting too hard of a time?
Yeah,
just
I do.
because the Rams didn't construct the team right.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. I mean, give the guy some slack, bro. Honestly, and he's not at all like me, Mike.
What do you think? You think Goff's trash, Mike?
Yeah, I don't like him at all.
I think he's a good quarterback. He's got an
I think
arm.
what
Like, he's
happened
smart.
is
Like
Gurley was a stud, and the defense is focused on him. And then once they didn't have a running game, everyone just dropped back in coverage, and it just was too much for him to take on.
Yeah, he doesn't have the mental capacity to perform at an elite level within the NFL.
how old is Goff now? Like
I'd say about-
24.
No, 26.
No,
26, yeah.
no, 26.
I thought he
It's
was
a big
like.
difference.
I mean, two
Just answering
two
the
more
question,
years.
I mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you are.
geez,
Okay,
dude.
sorry.
Take it easy, Mike.
But that's an example. I talked about quarterbacks that get drafted. I mean, they traded their whole draft for him 5 years ago, and he's not on the team anymore.
I know it's brutal.
But I guess that's the world of the NFL. And at number 8, we have Devonta Smith, the Alabama wide receiver, going to the Panthers. And I love this pick because they already have weapons. They have Robbie Anderson. Obviously, they have Christian McCaffrey. They have DJ Moore. And Sam Darnold, comes from a situation, the cupboard's bare. And this
on the warning track.
And
Oh, wow,
nice,
dude.
nice catch by Hicks there. But this is what I was just saying. You overload the skill positions. Give Darnold the best chance to win.
Right. I mean, it's smart. I mean, that's honestly, I feel like that's like 101 right there. Barnes, like
I mean, what else
If-
could you
if-
say there?
nothing.
Really?
Dude.
Nothing. You can't.
You can't.
Do
So
you,
just have Barnes speak.
do you guys think?
I'm in
though-
bed. I'll just sit here, dude. I'll have my own Yankees watch party in my head.
Do you guys honestly think though that Darnold will succeed
Yes.
with the Panthers.
Absolutely, dude.
I mean, I think everything's there for him. They have, the head coach, Matt Rule, there, as well as Joe Brady, who was the offensive coordinator for Burrow when he won the national championship at LSU.
Tom Brady's cousin.
I think coming from having Adam Gase as your offensive coordinator.
It's the new slate he needs, dude. It's like a fresh start. He's going to have a clear head. I think he's in a good position.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you look at number 9, the Broncos. Mel Kiper has them taking Micah Parsons, the linebacker for Penn State. So they've always been known as linebacker U. So I think that's a solid trade. The only thing is, I mean, they did just trade actually for Teddy Bridgewater yesterday, gave up a 6th-round pick. They have Drew Lock on the roster, but I don't think Drew Lock has shown enough. And if in this draft, Justin Fields hasn't been picked yet, I don't see how you don't go with him at this pick.
I don't see why not, right, Mike?
I mean, if you don't, you're not a good franchise.
And speaking of Justin Fields, at number 10, he has the Patriots trading up to take Justin Fields. And this is one, I'm sorry, bud, but Mel Kiper, you whiffed on this one. There's no way. Belichick doesn't trade up. He trades down. He's not going to trade up 5 spots for a quarterback. He thinks his system is the key to everything, and he can have any quarterback. And I think the whole reason that Jimmy Garoppolo has not been traded is because they're trying to get something for him, but they plan on releasing him. And that's why the Patriots signed Cam Newton, just in case they couldn't get Garoppolo, but their sights are set on Garoppolo. That's honestly what I think.
I can see that. I mean, I've heard that to be rumored recently, so I don't see why they wouldn't want Garoppolo back.
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes too much sense. You know what you have in Newton. He's done at this point. And then at number 11, we get to one of the locals here, the New York Giants. They have them selecting Jalen Waddle, the wide receiver out of Alabama. And I think this is a great pick.
Danny Dimes needs it.
They're set on Danny Dimes.
Right.
So
they're set
right
on Danny,
now, you have other skill players. Obviously, Barkley coming back from the injury.
Right.
I like what I've seen out of Slayton. Ingram's been pretty solid at tight end. So this is where there's no excuse. There's no Giant fan justification if Daniel Jones does not show promise this season.
I mean, this is it, dude. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you get him more than enough weapons he needs. Hopefully they draft maybe some O-linemen as well for some protection. And like you said, Jones is going to have no excuse not to be performing pretty well this year.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I've already counted him out. I think it's over. I think it's over, bud. What do you guys think, honestly?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's over, but he's got a good chance. This is his chance. Obviously, if it doesn't work this year, then I would say he's done. So, dude.
Mike, what's your thought?
Danny Dimes is back for a vengeance this
No
season.
way.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl?
Yeah, damn near close.
Damn near close.
So hey,
Idiot.
we'll see if they go that route, receiver. We'll see if it helps them.
Yeah.
And then
Can't wait. This is the pick I'm looking forward to.
This is what I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to. This is the most exciting part of the draft tonight because we already know what the Jets are doing at 2. They're taking Zach Wilson, but at 23, it's a wild card. And I have to say, I saw this pick and I was like, "What are you doing, Mel?
Wow, what a snag!
Nice snag, even though it took away a hit from Frazier." But they has him taking Northwestern cornerback Gregory Newsome here. So listen, Jets defense got torched routinely last year. Greg Wilson, that joke, is out of town, so we don't have to worry about him anymore, the defensive coordinator. But I just don't like a corner here. I think take a corner in the middle rounds. Like I've said, we've loaded up on defense the last few years, early in the draft, and just gotten offensive guys later. And I just think you need to prioritize offense. So I think what you do here at this second pick, you take a receiver. So you have Bateman, the wide receiver from Minnesota, or from wide receiver U, Terrence Marshall Jr., 6'2", physical receiver. I think in the NFL, you can't get enough of taller, bigger receivers. Of course, we have small guys like Odell Beckham, for instance. He's only 5'10" and a half, but those guys are exceptions. I just think if you have speed, you have height, you have athleticism. I mean, that just reminds me, this guy's a lot smaller, but of why Calvin Johnson was so good.
Yeah, man. He's just a large target. Exactly. The quarterback has such a bigger zone he can throw into, you know? Of course, yeah, like you said, Beckham is an exception. What do you think, Mike?
No, yeah, I agree.
No, yeah.
But
one of my favorite receivers was Randy Moss. I mean, like, come on, that's what we need.
What about Santana Moss?
Santana Moss was just hard, far Bootleg Moss.
And Lavernius Coles.
Oh, that's a legend. And Wayne Corbett.
Oh, Wayne Corbett.
Don't even
get
get me started
What a
with
guy,
him.
Wayne Corbett.
Hall of Famer.
But honestly, in all seriousness, let's say whether they trade for Julio Jones or not, don't you still think they need to go receiver here?
We do need a receiver. We need a lot of things, but definitely weapons for our boy who's coming in. Matt Gabriel says we need a receiver. Got to catch the ball at the highest point.
And I mean, imagine.
Thank you, Doc.
If we think about the highest receivers,
the highest
point in the last couple of years. So if they do what I said, so if they trade their third round pick, fourth round pick for Julio Jones, okay, you draft a rookie receiver, you signed Corey Davis, and then you still have Denzel Mims and Jamison Crowder. I mean, that is literally laying it all on the table at the skill position.
Yeah. Are you a Jets fan?
You serious? Just saying.
No, dude. No, yeah, sounds good. just
serious?
Saying, dude.
Would be nice to snag a running back too.
Easy bud. And I know, Mike, I'm going to start with you. What's your comment to that? It would be nice to snag a running back at the second pick. What's your thoughts?
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not, Matt.
Matt, I know you're all obsessed with, because you want to be a running back in the NFL, but no.
No, the one thing I'll say, Matt, you're not too far off because I would say second, third round, that's the sweet spot. We've seen running backs time and time again. Pro bowlers, perennial Pro bowlers going in these middle rounds. You don't need to take one in the first. Take a receiver, stack the receiver position. That's a priority. And as an absolute backup, if they had to, if one of these top offensive linemen falls.
I didn't say for their second round, you chief.
if one of the top offensive line prospects falls, I say take him at 23. If you can't take a receiver, because like we said, you need an offensive line. So that's the only other route I could see them doing. But my selection here, Terrence Marshall Jr., wide receiver LSU. And then in the second round, Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State, the cornerback. We know we need help in coverage. And I just love taking a guy's, whose dad played in the NFL. I just love the bloodline there. Usually it works out. I mean,
you love
they're
bloodlines.
Not as good possibly, but it's just like, the DNA is there. And that gives me, confidence that they'll be a pretty solid player.
The bloodline.
I mean, growing up with your dad, an NFL player, obviously you're going to learn a few things from him.
Right.
So,
bloodline.
Not even just the DNA, like the whole.
And a lot of times the son ends up being better. You know what I mean? In most cases, you look at Archie and Peyton Manning, you look at Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. So we've seen this happen before. All I can say is I am
back-to-back singles.
You seem fired up, dude. I love it.
Because I think
LeMahieu singled?
LeMahieu and Stanton singles.
Wow.
I think this is just sets up for the Jets. This is what we want to see, and I will be ecstatic. Zach Wilson, Julio Jones, Terrence Marshall Jr., and then tomorrow, Asante Samuel Jr. I will have no complaints whatsoever. So hopefully they listen, dude.
I like it when Barnes complains more, dude. It's very much more entertaining for me.
Yes.
But that being said, any other storylines or things you guys are looking at tonight?
I got nothing, dude.
Oh yeah, of course you don't. I do.
What do you have, Mike? I'm really interested to hear what you have.
I'm excited to see what the Patriots actually do.
And do you agree with me that they're not trading up for the quarterback?
If they do, what are you going to say?
I was wrong.
Oh, okay.
Just like I said, Sanchez is starting the All-Star game. I was wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
No, and before we close out here, last question. I just to torture you guys. Okay?
Yes, please.
In this draft, other than Trevor Lawrence, any position, who's the biggest star that comes out of this class?
Wilson.
I think that's obvious. I would say Zach Wilson. Yeah,
I think Wilson's going to be better than him. I think Wilson's going to be.
I would like
transcendent.
to see Mac Jones better and prove you wrong. Honestly.
Yeah.
But then I can get to hear Barnes again say I was wrong.
I like that too.
Hey, and I'll say it. And I'm just gonna say, I hope it's Zach Wilson. But if it's not Zach Wilson, my projection here is gonna be Kyle Pitts. I think he's just gonna be a game-changing tight end and be a Jimmy Graham, but he can extend the career and not just have a four-year window where he's dominant and then really taper off as he gets closer to 30. So hey. And, it'll be, if the Dolphins do end up getting him, it obviously will be a nightmare matchup for the Jets facing them. But I just think Tua, honestly, I think Tua's trash. So I think Tua is going to be looked at like how I look at Daniel Jones at this time next year. I just think doesn't have the arm strength, doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. I mean, have you been underwhelmed with Tua to begin his career?
In terms of his arm strength, yes. But I think him looking uncomfortable in the pocket, I think it'll come along. I mean, he's still pretty young. I do have, I would say, a little more confidence.
You know who
in
he
him.
reminds me of, Barnes?
Tua?
Yeah. I think you'll like this comparison.
Are you going to say
Mark
me?
Brunell?
No, Tim Tebow.
I mean, I guess he kind of does remind me.
Yo,
of Tim
like
Tebow.
almost damn near identical.
But hey, I mean, we'll see. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. I mean, it would be nice to have all 4 teams in the division have star quarterbacks. I mean, you don't see that happen
Exactly.
often.
Yeah.
Especially in the past drafts.
Especially in the
all
past.
all the first round quarterbacks have been. I don't think they're on the same team anymore.
No.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I forget what
it's-
that stat was
it
that
was
we
a big
talked
stat.
about. But
Oh, it was like since 2017
Yeah,
or something like
something
that.
like that.
One
Crazy
guy
stat.
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'm fired up. We're ready for the draft. I'm sure you'll hear from us later in some fashion.
Gleyber Torres
covering the draft.
strikes out looking.
And
Yeah,
Torres
he's great.
disappoints. So we're through. Is it middle third? So 2.5 innings, 1-0 Orioles. And hey, it's go time. We're down, but we've seen this before. We can score. Let's go.
Barnes is so hyped today, dude.
Yeah, he's got good
Hyped
energy.
for everything. I love it. Did you have your
Yeah.
big coffee today?
2.
Yeah, two?
Two.
Yeah.
Iced?
Homemade cold brew.
Oh.
So I guess you could say in totality, 64 ounces. 24-hour cold brew.
Holy
I mean,
shit, dude.
that is how you get the job done, right? I mean, what else could you ask for?
Nothing.
I'd be buzzing after 64 ounces, dude.
But go get some right now.
But how about, I mean, I was done with those because I was, doing some notes for the show.
Right.
So I was done with both of those by 9 o'clock.
So you suck him down, dude.
Oh my God. Like it's
Oh.
water. Like it's water. How is that number 1 for you? Or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
number
2?
1 for me.
Any
dude.
more today or you usually
Yes.
stick with 1?
No, he goes to 2.
No, well, because we have Chuck later. I'll probably go to water until Chuck.
Yeah.
and, you know.
Get hydrated up.
Exactly.
No, I'm
dude.
going to go to coffee.
Yeah, I know. And then you'll be dying during the workout. You
No,
No, I
know?
won't.
we'll leave on
I'm a
this.
monster.
Mike, how many coffees per day for you?
2 to 3.
All right. That's
I'm with
fair.
you.
That's respectable. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for today. But I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Great show, fellas.
Yeah, all around.
And of
It
course, we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.
Good night. Peace.